Well, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore. All of these Asian economic giants have one thing in common right now. All appear to have broken free of the global recession. All are export driven, so where does the U.S. play in their recovery, if at all? CNN's Richard Quest joins us now live from Hong Kong. He's traveling all over the world for his take. So what do you make of it, Richard?
And that is the conundrum, because the traditional view had been that without the US consumer, places like the export-driven economies of Southeast Asia and Asia could not return to good growth. Well, it appears to be not necessarily the case. Because of the vast, and I mean hundreds of billions of dollars of stimulus cash that's been poured into this part of the world, they've yanked themselves out of recession. Whether, Kyra, it is sustainable, of course, is the big question, because people still say here that even though Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, China are growing, they will not get back to normal growth, 6, 7, 8, 9%, until the US consumer, the American shopper, gets back in the stores.
I would say it. I don't think they have. I don't think some of them have. I think some of them have, but some have not.
If that is right, they are destined for a phenomenal backlash.
I don't know. You know, greed is a powerful thing in this world, and money, you know, feeds greed. I think you haven't got a bad system in England, in the sense that I think up to a certain level, or beyond a certain level, shareholders actually have to approve remuneration or packages, you know, to executives. You know, if the board, you know, wants to put forward a certain package to the shareholders, that might be the answer. I don't like governmental interference if it can possibly be avoided, because, you know, I don't think capitalism should die or should be dead because, you know, we can't think of a way as to how to better, you know, govern and better manage our financial sector.
Now, that is a fascinating point of view from Ronald Akuli, who is the chairman of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And not only do they have economic growth in this part of the world, but there, Kyra, you have a chairman of a stock exchange criticising the bonus culture that has now come back into the financial world. So a totality, if you like, basically saying if the bankers do not start being responsible about bonuses, they'll find themselves in deep trouble with governments and regulators.
Well, yeah, and it was those bonuses that caused such a huge problem here in the U.S. Well, let's talk about Beijing and Shanghai. These new job centers for American college graduates having trouble finding jobs here in the U.S. Are they just taken off and going over there?
Well, first of all, they've got to have the necessary visas. I think there is a perception. In the old days, you know, when I was growing up and going through college, the idea was you went out and got a Russian degree, or you learned to speak Russian. Nowadays, you've got to learn to speak Mandarin. And what a lot of American students are doing is forgetting that important little fact. They see the 8–9% economic growth of China. They believe, of course, like Hong Kong, it's English-speaking, or at least it's relatively Western in its environment. And they forget. Now, look, I've been to China several times, and I can tell you, once you go away from the major cities, even in places like Shanghai, if you don't have a command of Mandarin, you're going to find yourself in deep water, very deep water. You won't get very far. In fact, you'll get nowhere at all. So, to those American students who suddenly believe, economic nirvana, it has to be China, get back to the books. Mandarin is the fruit of choice.
Well, I understand your, I guess, fruit of choice is a new suit. You've been out shopping, I understand, getting to know the Hong Kong tailors.
The Hong Kong tailors are famous for one thing, well, besides anything else, and that is they'll make you a suit pretty much overnight. Whether it lasts till the end of the week and you don't end up running around in your skivvies is another matter. But we've put it to the test. Today, I went out and I was measured up by a Hong Kong tailor, one of the big tailors that goes to various cities like London, Paris, New York. People go to the hotel suite, they get all, you know, measured up and trussed up, and then you go out and you actually, a week later, the suit arrives. Tomorrow night, you will see me in my new suit, which, incidentally, before anybody casts aspersions, I will have paid for.
Yes, I would hope that you will be fully dressed as well. Richard Quest, we look forward to it tomorrow. Thank you. Well, a store